All right, we're going to walk through the weekend opening of the Ableton Live template. And the way we're going to do that is in a few simple steps. So we're going to talk about the opening and preparing the workflow in a pretty short video, and then the saving of that after the weekend service is done. And I would recommend you actually just do this saving process right on the front end. So let's get to it. On the desktop, we've created, much like the Reaper tracking machine, or vice versa. If you're watching this video first, the Reaper machine will have this. The exclamation points with New Hope Master Broadcast Template Ableton Live Project on the desktop. If we go into that guy, we're going to see a few things, but what I want you to focus on is this file right here. It is the NH Master Broadcast Template. All right, double click on that. And what that's going to do is it's actually going to open up Ableton Live and the workflow into what our normal weekend service needs to look like at a pretty, we'll call it a 80 percentile level, as far as what's opening and what's armed and how to interact with it. So as you open this up, the first thing I want you to do is actually make a copy of this and save your work into a unique folder on the tracking drive. So how we're going to do that is we're going to do a save as, all right, and then you'll note right here under this computer, a couple ways you can get there. This PC or the tracking drive, that's one and the same. Let me blow this up a little bit. The tracking drive, which is a 5.45 terabyte space of dedicated room for tracking in Ableton, we can get there a couple ways. So what I want you to do is click on that, and then just right out of the gate, create a new folder, and I would call it NH Tracks, and then your weekend service date. All right, that's what I would do. And then I would use that same name. I'm going to do a little cheat here. I would create that folder and then use that same name for your Ableton Live session, which can be done like this. Well, I'm not saving myself much time, but I'll use the, there we go, the Control V command. So right now, the workflow is set up and configured for you to start processing and mixing audio. You can see that a lot of the tracks down at the bottom are already armed. Now there is a few of them. For example, percussion is not armed by default. This would be a great one to talk about. Why isn't it? Well, you have a percussionist one every 3 weeks, I think. So the majority of the time it's not in play, and you do not want things armed or processing audio that's not in play. So be watchful of that. Okay, so let's say we just got done with our service, and we're going to wrap up and finish up. So we've recorded, let's see, toggle over here. I'm going to actually record some audio for this. So if I zoom out, what we're going to see is audio being recorded clear over here. Well, I don't know where it's being recorded. Oh, it's being recorded right here in the middle. I didn't have the cursor at the front there, so I apologize. So we're seeing some things write to disk right now. So if we bring that over where it's writing to disk, man, I'm struggling here. We've recorded, let's just say we've recorded 8 bars of audio. And so I'll stop that. Now to get back over that audio, I need to maximize this view. This is difficult on a remote desktop session. There we go. Couldn't even find it. So our little blip of tracking is right here. If we scroll down through that, you'll see anything that was armed, it will correlate with a file. Okay, so you can see up through these that if it was armed, when I hit that record button, it was tracking. And your session counter should be at 0 there with your cursor. So learn that lesson from me. So once we're done, we just wrapped up the weekend service, and again, I'm pressing the tab key to go from alt view, or excuse me, arrangement view to session view. This is arrangement view where the tracks are. This is session view where we're mixing. When we're done, You need to do this important step to make sure that the files make it to the correct folder. Collect all and save. What collect all and save does is it says specify which media files are to be copied into the project. We want this configuration right here. Yes, yes, no. Or excuse me, yes, 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 no. I am off of my game today. Sorry about that. Yes, 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 no. Files from elsewhere, files from other projects, files from user library. Why? Because I want everything that we do in this workflow, if we happen to bring some files in, if we happen to have something ARM that's not related to our normal weekend that we want saved in this session, this is going to collect all of that and save. And as soon as we hit OK, you're going to see it do some processing. And that's going to take a little bit if you have a large weekend service, which you will. But ultimately, when that's done, you can just leave the template open and you see our session date up at the top, or you can quit Ableton. Now, checking your work, verifying your work, we should be able to go back into that D drive, the tracking drive, drive D. You can go here, you can go here, and see that folder that we created, all right? And if we right click on that and go to properties, we're gonna see data in there, okay? 388 meg and in like 32 seconds of recording. That's how big these files grow. So just wanted you to be aware of that. That looks good. And if we wanted to reopen that session, that's pretty easy to go back in and open that live set. Okay, if we go back and open that live set, there's it's processing. It's going to look exactly the same from a file structure so we can practice, etc. Once that's open, we can validate our work by using tab to toggle back and forth. Hey, it looks exactly the same. All right, there's those tracks right there. All right, good to go. So I'm going to just close this out. You can do that by file quit or just closing the icon out. And that will conclude this video. Thank you very much.